So glad you're with us on Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Ken Ackerman. Well, more than a quarter of all inmates in the state of Oregon are housed right here in Salem. What kind of impact does that have on the community? Well, we're joined by Executive Director of Mid-Valley Mentors, Sarah Spinks. Sarah, thanks for being here. First of all, what is Mid-Valley Mentors?
Mid-Valley Mentors is a community-based nonprofit that provides mentoring for at-risk children and adults whose lives are impacted by incarceration.
Well, we're talking about the families of those incarcerated, but not only the families, we're actually talking about the inmates themselves. You help them all.
Yeah, we work with the children affected by incarceration as well as the adult inmates as they're transitioning from incarceration and reintegrating into the community.
Let's start with the children. What type of services and how do you help them?
Well, our programs are all volunteer driven, so we recruit, screen, and train volunteers to work one-on-one in mentoring relationships with youth. And it's community based, so we get the mentors ready and match them with a kid based on interest. And then they meet weekly over the course of a year and just share time together and provide support while their parents incarcerated or while they're experiencing system involvement themselves with youth probation.
What are the differences between a youth that has someone, a parent who's incarcerated, and someone who doesn't? What do you have to really look out for?
There's a lot of things, a lot of factors that go into a kid who's affected by incarceration. For one, obviously they have the lack of two-parent household and adequate adult support and supervision. Often these kids or families are living in poverty, so they have a parent who's working all the time, they're not supervised, and they're not getting that one-on-one time that kids really need in order to be successful in school and just in life in general. A lot of times they're also affected in school. There's research that shows that once a kid has a parent that's incarcerated, they struggle academically. It's hard for them to focus and concentrate, maybe having anxiety over the parents being gone, or just struggling with the adjustment in life and challenges of wondering what's happening to my parent while they're gone. So a lot of times you'll see behavior issues in school, poor academic achievement, and so the mentoring can just really support in help the kid feel normal and like they have the support that they need to redirect and refocus.
What does research show about a child who has a parent incarcerated? What are the chances that that child is going to grow up and suffer the same fate?
That's a good question. Children who are infected by incarceration are often 7 times more likely to end up incarcerated as an adult themselves. And so without intervention, and if we think about it in our own lives, it's really, we learn from experience and we learn from what's around us in our environment. So growing up with families who are really involved with criminality, that's what's known to them. And mentoring is a great way to expose kids to something that they don't know and to see that there's other ways of life and of doing things. So mentoring has a huge impact and power.
Now you've just started mentoring and helping those who are also incarcerated. How do you help them?
Well, the same thing. We recruit volunteers who help them during the crucial time that's going to determine whether they're going to be successful once they get released. So we recruit and support volunteers, get them connected before they release, help them look at what barriers do they have to successful integration. So are they going to struggle getting employment? Do they lack education? Is housing going to be an issue? Do they need to reunify with children? What do they have to do to make that happen? And just guide them and develop a plan to help them reach their goals within the 90 days of transition. So the mentors meet with them weekly once they release and help them navigate the community, get plugged into resources, and hopefully not end up back in the situation that led them to prison.
I was going to ask, what is the recidivism rate of someone who is incarcerated and going back?
Well, generally speaking, of inmates who release, we have about 700 a year that release to Marion County, and about a third of those are not going to recidivate. They're not going to reoffend. They're going to do fine by themselves. Another third are going to reoffend no matter what you do. So no matter what supports we give them, they're still going to end up back. But the other third is the population that we really focus on, the medium to high risk offender who, if they had adequate support and skills, would not end up back in prison. And so it's the 1/3 population that we really focus the supports.
All right, and you also have an event coming up October 16th. Tell me about that.
We do. On October 16th, we're having our first annual 5K and Fun Run at the Riverfront Park to support the youth mentoring program.
Okay, we'll have more information on that as well. Thank you very much, Sarah Spinks, and thank you for joining us on Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Ken Ackerman. Make it a great day.